afternoon, and welcome race fans for our special this week at Road America. So this is Ken Rodriguez for North American Grand Prix. Before we go any further, let me introduce, yes, I have a co-host today, and it is none other than my buddy, my pal, and yours, Mr. Jack Ivey. What do you say there, Jack?
Hey, Kenny, back in the saddle with you. Feels real good to be back, especially at this, I'm going to say, international race we got going today.
It is, and it is more than ever an international race. I mean, NAGP of its own is an international event every Monday and Thursday, but this is an especially a special international event in that we are doing some interleague racing here with our Russian buddies from across the pond.
OSRW League against the NAGP, and it looks like, you know, I've been watching the practices and I'm watching the offline stuff too, and it looks like it's going to be a race of the best against the best.
It is. I have no doubt that OSRW went ahead and pulled out all the stops and pulled their aces into this event, as did we. The North American Grand Prix, we have some of our best guys up there, and just looking at some of these early practice times, I gotta say it's going to be quite interesting to see how this is going to shape up. We've got, I think it's 31 laps here tonight, well, this afternoon, around this long course, and you're talking about lap times in the 207, 208 range.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that's going to translate out, you know, over the whole race, Ken. There's been a lot of strategy, a lot of work put in, and we've been watching very carefully here. The Russians have laid down the gauntlet. I mean, they've got some super fast times. They're out on softs right now, you know, in the 207s. But, you know, our pre-race investigations have seen that, you know, we're going to be 209s, 210s during the race. And it's going to be interesting. One stop, two stop. Who knows?
It certainly is. And like I said, you know, I'm sure that both leagues have pulled out all the stops. This is a big to-do. And it differs in our weekly competition in that, you know, week after week we race with each other and we know each other, and it's, you know, it's good to win amongst friends, but you know, this is one league pitted against another, and while this is a friendly event, no doubt the adrenaline is going to be pumping and the spirit of competition is going to be very high here today.
Oh, you got that. I'm telling you, I'm sure that the NAGP League and the OSRW League, they definitely want to put on a good showing, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
It is. So, you know, let's quickly talk about Road America here. This is quite the course. It's no stranger to the North American Grand Prix. It's a total of 14 turns with some very interesting areas. I mean, Sector 1, pretty much all open. Turn 1's all the way down to through 5, which is the Moraine Sweep. Then you kind of enter into a tricky technical section, and then the Carousel and Canada Corner, where a lot of guys tend to get caught out. You know, so I think they picked a really good course for this interleague race today.
Yeah, it's a fast course. You know, it's going to be very interesting to see how these guys handle it. You know, with you know, a balance between the downforce issues, the mechanical grip. It does appear that this server here has got a little better grip on it, because on our server, Ken, we were all running in around the 211s, and then as soon as we came over and did some practice on this German server, it was quickly evident that we were going to drop down into the sub 210 mark, and it is going to be a fast track. It's a great choice.
It was. You know, just looking at some of the early timing and scoring right now, we're still in practice, and I guess that the powers that be decided to give these drivers a little extra time. We did have some technical difficulties getting on the server, so we're still in practice, but Luis Nieto right now sitting up in third with a 207.8. So he's mixing it up with the Russians early on here.
Yeah, and you know, somebody else I'm going to put my money on is Ronnie Nunez. Ronnie was out yesterday up on the Russian server here, or the German server, and he can throw the gauntlet down. You see Ronnie's time up there at 2:10. He's on hards right now, so he's doing some pre-race, work on seeing how the tires are going to hold up.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. And I don't think that we've seen the best of everybody just yet. I think that come the qualifying session, we perhaps are going to find perhaps what I'm going to call a few surprises from some of these drivers, both NAGP as well as the OSRW League.
Yeah, it looks like they've got some pretty quick drivers, up on their site. I was perusing their website, and they've got a decent site. They've got a great, sim racing community that they're working with, similar to ours in North America here. So they've got a talented bunch over there too. So it is going to be very interesting. I'm a little disappointed I don't see Aaron Parsons up here. I was surely hoping that Aaron would show up, one of our most talented veterans. But hey, we've got a great bunch of guys out there today to give it the best.
Yeah, we certainly do. And I believe that I saw a post by Aaron a little earlier today in the forums stating that there was a slight possibility that he wasn't going to be able to make this race. And it's unfortunate, but we do, and we still do. We did and do have some standby drivers that were at the ready to step in, and I want to give a big kudos to all of the NAGP reserve drivers because they make filling in these roles very possible. And if should we lose a competitor for whatever reason, real life calls sometimes, then these guys were there at the ready.
Yeah, there's a lot of interest here, a lot of interest in driving, so that's a good thing.
Certainly is. So I don't know exactly how much more practice we've got left to go, but starting to see some names swap positions up there at the top, at least within the top 10 anyway. And you got one of the OSRW guys, Mr. Nateman, who's already in the 207 flat range. So he's blazing around this track.
Yeah, he's out there laying down some, but we've got Nieto not too far behind. Sokolov is in second. Lappin in fourth, but Chris Moses is right there. So we've got a few guys in the top 10, and we're just going to get our guys settled in, and we'll do just fine out here in qualifying.
Oh, absolutely.
Should have maybe about 5 minutes left before qualifying starts, but looking good.
I think the one thing that some of our drivers did not want to do in the time leading up to this competition today was tip their hand too much. As you know, when you are practicing on the server, the ability to see the time is public to anybody with an internet connection. Don't think we saw the best of our guys just yet.
No, they were on both sides. I was up on their website, and both sides are keeping the chatter down. So there's a little bit of strategy going on here. We've been doing a little bit of investigation, and we see that I think most of the Russians are going to work on a two-stop strategy, and we did some timing to see how fast it was in and out to grab 4 leaders, because it looks like a couple of our guys are going to definitely be on a 2-stop. Some might be on a 1-stop. Some are going on medium. Some are going on hards. It's going to be a lot of fun today, Ken.
It's going to be crazy. We're going to bring you all that action live here, so for those of you that are with us, stay tuned, because there's a lot more coming up, and we got a lot to talk about here.
Yes, indeed. That 207 flat out, that's an incredible time around this track.
Yeah, that it is, actually. It's more than a half second off of their next best driver, Sokolov, who's in second, and then Nieto in third. So, it's just going to be really interesting to see what their guys are actually going to pull out for the qualifying once we flip this over.
Yeah, you know from past experience in NAGP, these guys go out and they'll throw down a few hot laps, but when it comes down to qualifying, our guys usually can step it up and really throw down some decent numbers.
Absolutely. So, you know, today's race is scheduled for 200 kilometers. That's 50 kilometers more than what we typically run on a Monday night. So I'm guessing that's roughly about 31 laps. If my calculations...
31 laps, and like I say, it's going to be... Yeah, it is going to be close if they can do it on one stop, but we may end up into a two-stop situation. Just wanted to bring something up for you viewers here. Greg Myers is driving in a blue car. It would appear that the Russians are in blue, and our drivers in the NAGP are going to be in red, except for Mr. Myers. He's running under a cloak in the blue car.
You know, what's funny is that I installed that skin patch. For some odd reason on my end it's not showing up here, so but I can distinguish between the Russians and the Americans, with the exception of Greg Myers. All of the Russians are driving the number 74 red and white car. All of the NAGP cars are in the 37 all red. So, Mr. Myers, we question your loyalty here. No, we're just kidding. We'll just call him Gregory Myerovsky.
Yeah, and that's what's up on the broadcast there, are the red and white cars. I can see them on the broadcast. I got it up there. But from my own vantage point, blue cars are Russian, red cars are NAGP.
Yep, and that's the way it should look, folks. So, you know, we apologize for that. On my machine, it's either red and white or all red. But just know, when you are watching the broadcast, the red and white cars are OSRW cars, with the exception of Greg Myers, and the all red cars are the NAGP drivers. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least. So we're still in practice, not exactly sure just how much we've got left to go, but we're hoping that we get to switch over to qualifying and bring you some of that live action.
You know, just as a little heads me up, these guys are chatting away like crazy. It looks like there's a lot of international banter going on between the drivers on both sides of the pond. So it all looks good.
No doubt. Are you looking at the chat board, Jack?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so we just went back there ourselves, and I see exactly, I'm bringing to the viewers exactly what you're saying, and yeah, keep radio silence. Isn't that something?
This is a lot of fun, and I'm glad to see that both sides are taking this, you know, as an opportunity, a great exchange between two fabulous leagues. I think it's funny. I think we're going to have a lot of fun here tonight. And I know the racing's going to be good and clean. You know, we've got some of our best drivers out there, and I know they do as well. So being a top driver around in these competitive leagues, you've got to race clean. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And you know, I'm actually on board right now with Ronnie Nunez. Ronnie Nunez used to race with some of these guys, so he's very familiar with them, and he's actually gone to the extent of calling them some top quality virtual racers. And of course, us being familiar with the NAGP drivers, I gotta say, I'm amped up for what I'm gonna deem a spectacular event this afternoon.
Yeah, Ronnie's currently sitting in practice time at 15, but guess what? Ronnie's out there on hard tires, and he's out there with Salem and Matt Taylor on hards, and they're running, you know, around 210 on hards. So, you know, when we take a look at these top drivers like Yetman and Sokolov, Nieto, Lappin and Maris, well, Lappin's out on hards too. All the rest are out on softs.
Yeah, I would imagine that these guys out there on softs are, I would hope, doing their qualifying runs. I don't know. I mean, then again, we've seen the strategy where some guys will go out on softs, do a short first stint, establish dominance early, come into and dip into the pits. If they can keep their car clean and damage-free, dip into the pits for a really quick change of tires and some fuel and get right back out there, and then drive a longer stint. and I have no doubt that we're going to see some varying strategies here today.
Yeah, and they will too. They'll have some great strategists as well, as we do in our league too. Brad Maris and Chris Wilson bring a lot of experience to the table, along with Al. So they're going to be spreading around that strategy. Although, you got to remember, these guys are still racing together in the Monday Night League, and I did notice there was, not that they weren't sharing, but they got to keep some of their tricks under their hat for the Monday Night Race League.
Oh, absolutely, no doubt. I know for a fact that Brad Maris has been itching to drive these cars in a competition setting. So Brad Maris and Al Merriman, for those of you watching, they are the Monday night broadcasters. They bring you the Formula Abarth every Monday live. And it's no secret that Brad has voiced his desire to want to race, and here he has the opportunity to do so. And we're going to be expecting good things out of him today.
Yeah, Brad now a little bit of a disadvantage. They haven't spent a lot of cockpit time in these Abarths, so I mean, yesterday online with Brad, it was all about, trying to get a setup he felt comfortable with. And, once Brad gets a comfortable setup, he's going to be a man on the mission. Now, I don't see Al in the server.
No, I believe that Al is not making this race today because he's got an open house. He's trying to sell his home, and he's got some business to tend to, so he will not be joining us today.
It's too bad. I really look forward to seeing him out there.
Yeah, no doubt. So we have a couple of reserves that did step in, and we're grateful to them. Although I do not see that everybody is in the server at the moment. So if I'm looking up at the timing and scoring, I have a total of, I think, 31 cars.
Yeah, I just see I'm on the chat board still, and it looks like Nemsev is asked 2 drivers, 2 from OSR and 2 for NAGP, to leave the server. I'm not sure why, because we've only got 28, and there should be room for 32 today.
That's exactly right. Yep. So there should be 28 drivers and 4 broadcasters total, because this will also be telecast in Russian as well. So, just going through some of these guys that are out on track right now, just seeing what these lap times are like. Your top 4 into 207s. Pretty big space, though.
Well, yeah, almost a second between first and fourth, but that puts them pretty close on the grid, and when they all get back onto the hard tires and full fuel tanks, we'll see what actually happens.
Yeah, the great equalizer, right? Those hard tires.
Also, I did notice, by lapping around this track here, you've got to really stay, in the groove, on the drive line, and those curbs, there are a few that you can utilize, but there are a couple that are absolutely disaster. So it's only going to take one little mistake in these 31 laps that could put you from first to 32nd.
In a heartbeat, because I got to tell you, these Formula Abarth cars are, they run similar to Formula 3 cars, and they're light, they're nimble, and they upset fairly easily if you don't have that setup spot on. So, yeah, these guys are going to have to be very careful as they're driving their hardest to try and stay competitive.
Yeah, tire wear, it's all going to come down to driving smooth. You get too much, lateral movement on these cars, you're going to wear those tires out prematurely. So a smooth driver, your Brad Maris, Ronnie as well, Ronnie Nunez, and even Greg Myers. I'm going to look for those guys to have pretty good tire wear.
Yeah. So I see that Salem Montgomery Jr. just disconnected from the server. Not exactly sure why. I know that there's a lot of banter that's going on in the Ventrilo chat room, and it looks like Salem actually jumped from Ventrilo, so he may have been one of the ones that was asked to leave. Not sure.
Yeah, some of the ping rates are a little high. You know, well, everybody's a little high actually. They're higher than we would normally achieve here in the NAGP in the North American League. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm up there. I'm pretty sure that I'm high as well. I mean, I have a ping rate of 274. That's what I never see that. But in all fairness, you know, we're racing on a server that is located in France. It's overseas for us here in the States. And it looks like they settled on this server because it was kind of geographically halfway around the world for both sides. So I believe that was the reasoning behind that.
Well, it would appear that some of the Russian drivers are experiencing better ping rates. Some are not, but Russia's a huge country. We don't know where they're actually located, which is a little bit of a shame. We'll have to, next time we have another interleague race like this, Kenny, we'll have to get some driver bios up.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? From both sides would be absolutely great. I mean, what better way to kind of pass the time discussing some of the drivers, what they do, what they don't do, what they like, what they don't like. All kinds of good stuff.
Yep, different cultures, different people, but hey, one unifying feature for all these guys out here today. They obviously love auto racing.
Yeah, that indeed. So we're still in practice, guys, and we don't know when it's actually going to switch over. I know that we have a 25-minute qualifying session. Everything is set to 1x with the exception of mechanical damage, which is set to 50%, and I believe they did that. They agreed upon that. We do that here on Monday nights, and they probably do that in their league as well, because these cars are quite fragile, perhaps a little too much so, and would be counterproductive to a competitive event.
Well, I'd like to welcome our viewers that are up here with us today. And some of the sentiments up there is the same as what we said. It's too bad that Aaron wasn't here, but hey, we still got a great lineup out there, and I'm sure we're going to do just fine.
Yeah, certainly, no doubt. And again, you know, we do have some reserves that were at the ready, and some that actually stepped up. So we should be good to go.
Yes, and it looks like Salem made it back in, which is good because we just switched over to qualifying.
Just now, so thus starts a 25-minute qualifying session, and we see a gaggle of cars heading out to the field right now. We're going to bring you that live action. We're going to bring you some on board and see what it is these guys have actually been holding back.
Yeah, some of the drivers are taking their time coming out, looking for some gapping, for some spacing. Looks like they're all going out on softs.
Yeah, no real surprise there, right, Jack? They're going to want to put their best foot forward.
Yep, absolutely. It is going to be very, very interesting. Some of the drivers still sitting in the pits making their selections.
Now, one of the unfortunate things is that with these high ping rates, the graphics, sometimes it looks like these cars are going to be ice skating around the rink, around the circuit.
Out pretty early. I think he's one of our first drivers out there.
Well, I was gonna try and bring the chat board up on my end, but it's just taking way too much of the bandwidth, and doesn't look like we're gonna actually be able to do that. So we'll keep it off, and I will.
Yeah, I'm experiencing. I've got it up to Ken. I'm not using it, but it looks like it's chewing up some of my bandwidth too. I might not even be able to get the watch the Twitch broadcast here with you guys.
Yeah, I had to shut it down, and it's you know, again, high ping rates. This is typically what happens when you're looking at when you're looking at an event with high ping rates such as this. Unfortunate. This is one of the unfortunate parts of it.
We're in the 600 and 700 ping range.
Ouch. So I took it on board with Salem Montgomery Jr. as he comes to the start-finish line. And he was actually on an out lap. So Salem Montgomery Jr. currently starting the first of his hot lap for this event.
Is gonna be a ton of fun, guys.
It certainly is. And boy, I gotta tell you, they're banging off that rev limiter down there at the end of the Moraine sweep.
Well, it would appear on my side that Konstantin Panichkin is going to come around with the first blistering hot lap, and we'll see what he's got in store for us.
Yep, looks that way. These guys are now working, a lot of them are working on their hot lap right now, so we're going to have to give it about another 3 or 4 minutes before we start seeing the fruits of their efforts.
Konstantin puts in a 2:08.941. Igor Gerdinskabov, 2:07.837, so he takes it.
Yep. And so Brad Maris now jumps up to the second spot with a 2:07.940 of his own.
Not a boy, Brad, but you know, he's got Luis Nieto right in behind him, but they are all crashing this time barrier, so look for lower 2:07s.
You know, I wouldn't be too surprised if one of these guys actually cracked that 2:06 barrier. Given what we saw in practice, is very possible.
Yeah, Salem Montgomery just jumped up to P4 in behind Brad Maris.
Yep, I see that. He posts up a 2:08.221. Good on Salem. So we're on board with Konstantin Panichkin at the moment, as he is kind of sliding down the order. He's currently sitting in 10th. So I am on board with Varsdat Mark, who is your current pole sitter, and he gets it all wrong just after the Moraine sweep, but he'll keep it going. Mike Greatrick's out on track.
Ronnie Nunez coming up, and Ronnie posts up a 2:07.77 for good for P2. And I told you in the pre-race there, Kenny, I was looking for Ronnie to throw some crap hot laps in here.
Yeah, no doubt, Jack. That's an amazing lap time. On board with Brad Maris as he comes to the line now. See if Brad gets any improvement out of his last effort.
Whoa!
And Brad Maris,
the pole.
Yeah, he goes up to the top provisionally on pole. Brad Maris at 2:07.7.
not far behind in second, provisional pole second is Marcus Ian, and a 2:07.758. So he is very close, and he is coming up to the start finish as well.
So Brad Maris sitting on top of the leaderboard right now with Varazdat Mark in second, Ronnie Nunez in third, Drajnikov in fourth, and Luis Nieto slips down to fifth. Sela Montgomery currently sitting in sixth, trying to better his time out there. Boy, some of these guys are going to have to... Go ahead.
Kenny, we've got 6 of the top 10 qualifiers so far.
Pretty amazing, eh?
Yeah, and just going past the top 10, we got Chuck Carter in 11th, Moses in 14th, Houston in 15th, Ludden in 16th, Myers in 17th. We're doing just fine out there, boys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm actually on board with Ludden right now in the cockpit cam, just studying his lines. He is headed down to turn 5, the Moraine sweep. And looking mighty racy out there, Jack.
Well, they are. And I'm just on board here with Sokolov, and he was putting in some hot practice times. He's been up on the server quite a bit, and be interesting to see how he can slap down a qualifying effort.
Sela Montgomery Jr. going through turn 5 now. Followed closely by Drasnikov, Igor Drasnikov. Got to keep my track map up here, kind of keep tabs on where these guys are throughout the track, Jack. I kind of lose orientation kind of quick.
Yeah, it's... It is a fast track. It's going to be very, very interesting.
And we have a new pole sitter. Mr. Nateman takes it up to a 2:07.1. Now, Nateman, if you recall, was the one who was running 2:07 flat. So, don't think we've seen the last of him yet.
No, he showed some great speed, and that 2:07.1. He put up a 2:07.032 in practice there. Just an amazing lap. So he must have hit every apex and just hit it bang on to get down to that 2:07 flat.
So that is Evgeny Nateman, your current pole sitter, with a 2:07.126 after just 2 timed laps. So I could just imagine what he could do if he gets if he can string a few laps together. He gets it all wrong coming out of the Moraine sweep.
It's gonna be a problem. I was just on board with one of our drivers there. They are pushing so hard for those, hundredths of a second. Overdriving is gonna cost them. But there's still just about 9 minutes left, so there's still time out there.
Well, you know what? I mean, Road America in these light, nimble formula cars will certainly push you to overdrive in a heartbeat. You can go deep into the braking zone with these cars. I mean, Jack, you've run a couple of races on the Monday Night League with these cars, and you know what they can do. And they're just so fast.
They are. Good grip, but when you lose it, you lose it.
Yeah, when you lose it good.
Now, I do see we've got Nikita Nemchev and Andrew Mova not even putting in any qualifying laps at all. They're just sitting in the pits. Don't know what the strategy is there, but...
yeah, not exactly sure. These guys... perhaps looking to bring up the rear?
Yeah, and Nemchev was one of the guys who said, "I need 2 guys to leave." So we've only got 28 guys out there. I mean, there was still space to come in. Unfortunately, communication could be an issue here between us and our Russian counterparts. So we have no idea of if we could add a couple of late players to jump in.
Yeah, for sure. So, let's see. Evgeny Pressman leaving the pits now. Salem Montgomery Jr. just passed the start-finish line on an out lap. Going to start a hot lap now going into turn 1. Mike Greatrix out there giving it his all. Currently running in 23rd. His best of a 209.981. So there's
well,
still.
That's all right, because that's pretty close to his. That's really pretty close to his normal lap times. So that's all right. If he can run that in his in race trim, he'll do just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to tell you, you know, every little bit helps, and so you know, every racer here counts. So looks like Nateman now, Varazdat Mark jumps up into the 2nd spot. Matt Taylor now jumping up to 3rd. So Brad Maris gets debunked from that top spot with some other drivers that are out there giving it their best shot. We've got just under 6 minutes left of qualifying time.
And Ronnie was bumped back down, but he improved his time. And there is that 206 you were talking about by Chernevsky.
Yeah, there it is. Chernevsky with a 206.937. And again, you know, it does not surprise me that we are seeing 206s. Now I just like one of the NAGP guys to be able to at least match that pace. And you know what? Let's just put a few things into perspective here. Qualifying runs are just that. They're hot laps. You're out there, low fuel, low aero, soft tires, with as much mechanical grip that you can program into these cars, and you're just letting it all hang out, balls to the wall. You got to hit every apex, and the conditions have to be just perfect for you to get that type of a lap time. Now, come race time, with a full load of fuel, harder tires, you know, things tend to change a bit. A lot of these guys do even have a separate race setup. So we're not going to be seeing times like this, obviously, in the race session. You know, so just wanted to put that in perspective for our viewers.
Yeah. You know, also, you know, when you're actually battling out on the track, your lap times aren't going to be what they are. You know, we're going to have to watch for somebody like Chernisky and Nietman, Mark Sion, you know, and our boy Ronnie Nunez and Matt Taylor, Brad Maris. They get some clean track, they're going to run away. So it's all about putting the pressure on, keeping them honest, and making them race. Drive off the fast line into a defensive line. There's a lot of chat going up on the chatter board there, guys. Yeah, apparently we can't handle a 32. The server's getting bad after 26. Nemchev has said we can only have 26 in there, and a lot of the drivers are, not us, but the Russian drivers are whipping back saying, hey, fix the server, get us 32 drivers. We've got a contingent who wants to race here. So bit of controversy going on out there.
Yeah, that does not surprise me whatsoever. But I got to tell you this, at least from this broadcaster's perspective, the ping rates and the lag, the video lag, have drastically improved. We're currently at 27 right now, 28 with myself. I'm showing you as number 27, Jack. I do not see myself out there, which makes sense because I haven't left the pits. So we're at 28 total on the server.
I haven't left pits either. I've got you in 25th. I got 28 drivers showing, Ken.
A total of 28. Yeah, that's what I've got. Yep. So
I got you in here. You're in number 25. But Nemchev and Mova have not put out any lap times, and it looks like Nemchev is the one who's basically saying, "Hey guys, we can't handle more drivers than this." After that, it's getting bad. He's still looking for 2 people to leave, but as you said, ping rates have dropped. They're acceptable now.
yeah, they certainly are acceptable. Like I said, and it's noticeable in the video latency. It's been minimized, so we're bringing you a fairly smooth feed for the most part, and we are broadcasting in HD. No doubt that's probably putting a bit of a strain on my system, but hey, you know what? We don't do this very often, so to heck with it.
Well, we still have Chernevsky and Vietman and Marcus Sion, and now we've got Drez and Nivkov in the top 4 spots with Ronnie Nunez, Matt Taylor, Brad Maris rounding out the top 7. So the Russians have really stepped up their game here.
They have. They certainly have, and no doubt they've put in as much practice as our guys have, but you know what? Listen, hey, I love qualifying. It sets the grid for what's to come, but you know what? The meat and the potatoes is in the session that comes immediately after this, the race session, where it really counts, where all the bragging rights are earned. So we've got just over a minute left to go of qualifying, following around Mr. Marty
Ken,
Wren.
They're still asking for one NAGP driver to leave the server.
I believe Sam Rolfe may have stepped out. I think Sam Rolfe took off. Yeah, I see that. I see Rolfe disconnected. You know, and it's an unfortunate event. It's an unfortunate circumstance that the server is just unable to handle the load. I don't think that we would have seen this perhaps on the NAGP server, but then again, most of our guys are stateside. A good portion of them are stateside, so we typically don't see this. But perhaps the host server, the one that provides the service, may need to be looked at if ever we're to run an event like this again in the future.
Yeah, you know, absolutely. But it's an inaugural race. You know, we got some quirks to work out. Hey, it's just too bad everybody can't join in, because it looks like there was lots of enthusiasm to get in on this race.
Most certainly, and no doubt that that's going to be an area or a topic of contention for some of these guys that were ready, willing, and able to go. Not just the NAGP, but the OSRW guys as well. So it looks like Mike Graytrix was the one that went ahead and disconnected from the server. He's gone, and we are now down to 26 drivers, and I believe 4 broadcasters, so... Or is it 22 drivers and 4 broadcasters? Something like that.
22 and 4. We should be at 26. My heart goes out to you, Mike. You were a great help to everybody in prepping for this race, and I wish you could have been there for us.
So Konstantin Panichkin is coming around those last few corners through Canada Corner, and so is our Chernyavsky, as they're finishing off. I don't know if they're actually going to get to finish this lap. There is a time limit once the checkered flag comes out, but they are on the straight to get across that line. And that's going to do it. So that's going to do it. We've got a 5-minute countdown before the start of this race here. And boy, I got to tell you, the starting order kind of caught me out there by surprise. They've sewed up the top 4 spots. Ronnie Nunez coming in 5th. So, a bit surprising.
But, you know, we've got Nunez, Taylor, Montgomery, and Maris in the top 10. And that's pretty impressive driving skill from our side of the board.
Yeah, no, absolutely it is. And you know what? I think the start is going to be quite critical. So Road America has quite a spread out grid. It's not very tight as in other circuits that we run here. So these guys, they're going to want to give each other some racing room through the first few corners as they settle themselves in. No doubt that those that are still in the server, adrenaline is pumping right now, and the anticipation is high as to what's actually going to happen come race time. So we're going to bring you all that live action. But any predictions here, Jack?
I have none at all. No predictions at all. I can tell you, I think some of our drivers, I take a look at down the pack there, you know, we've got, you know, Luis Nieto in 13th, Marty Uren in 15th, and Chris Moses in 17th, John Ludden in 19th. They're not going to stay there. There's no way. Our drivers are too good. I'd like to say Pravitya to Nikita Nebchev and Andrei Mova, who are our Russian broadcasters who are broadcasting this live throughout Russia today.
Very nice, very nice. So why don't we go ahead and give them the rundown of the starting order for this race, the first ever NAGP OSRW Interleague race here at Road America, running the Formula Abarth cars, and starting on pole, Dmitry Chernyavsky starting in 2nd, Yevgeny Nietman in 3rd. We have Varzdad Markosyan. Igor Drajnikov will start 4th. Ronnie Nunez in 5th.
Matt Taylor in 6th. Evgeny Presman in 7th. Salem Montgomery in 8th. Brad Maris in 9th. And Evgeny Ilesiev in 10th.
So starting in 11th is Roman Lepin. Bogdan Gontarenko in 12th, and Luis Nieto in 13th. Konstantin Panichkin in 14th. Marty Wren in 15th.
Alexei Sokolov in 16th. Chris Moses in 17th. Alexander Omelian in 18th. 19th is John Ludden, and 20th is... Hey, I think we've lost number 20 driver.
We might have. We might have. So,
well, and John Houston's going to start in 20.
Yep, and Greg Myers will start in 21st, and that's pretty much it, because all you got left are the broadcasters, and we're not starting. So,
and bringing it live to you tonight is Kenny Hot Rodriguez, and I'm Jack Ivey. And hey, Ken, I just got to say, we got a minute left, but I got to tell you, I'm just stoked to be back up in the booth with you. I've been missing it terribly.
Man, Jack, let me tell you something. You're not the only one, buddy. You are sorely missed in the broadcast booth as well.
Well, I'm going to grab the action at the back of the pack here. I'm going to get on board with Greg Myers.
Yep, so I am actually on board with number 2. Let me get to number 1. And there we are. So your pole sitter starting from the inside on the front straight. Going to be very interesting as these lights get ready to come on right now. This is a standing start formation, just like just about any other Formula class. Standing start, and interesting that it should be on the inside line. We're going to have to see how that all works out coming into corner number 1. And they are off. There they go.
going to have to remember Greg Myers is in a blue car.
So your early leader right now, Chernaevsk, is yeah, kind of checked out.
We've got a Russian crash out.
Oh, it looks like Gontarenko is out. He has pulled it in. He's pulled it behind the wall and is checked out.
Some early attrition there.
Yes, sirree. So Dimitri out front
Whoa,
early.
We've got one of our drivers spinning. That looks like Salem Montgomery.
And yeah, Salem Montgomery all the way to the back now, so he's going to have some making up to do. Gregory Myers out. Oh, we got another spin. It looks like we had a coming together of a few cars. Matt Taylor caught up. Yevgeny Elisiev is trying to get out of the kitty litter. And that's a no-go for him.
We've got Ronnie Nunez battling for second with two Russians up here. Looks like one of the Russians is just about checked out, but Ronnie is giving them all.
Yeah, so Ronnie Nunez up in, I'm still showing him in fourth.
Yep, he's in fourth, but those three cars are battling for second place.
Yes, they are, indeed. Indeed they are. So let's go on board with these, with Ronnie Nunez.
And it would appear Ronnie has got a lower downforce setup because he is just blowing by, and I'm sorry, I don't know which driver that is, but he is going right by Jenny Nietman.
He went right, yep, he went right by Nietman. And he's also got Pressman right behind, so Nietman and Pressman are on Ronnie's tail in the early going here. And these drivers are just banging off that rev limiter. Chris Mose is currently running in 8th place, putting all sorts of pressure on Panichkin. And you got a gaggle of cars coming into turn 5. Oh, they go too wide. John Houston in that foray. Marty Uren as well. Boy, oh boy, from 10th to 13th to 14th, Greg Myers, these guys are just going at it.
You know, I thought Greg would do well. You know, he is such a smooth driver. I thought he'd do very well here.
Well, Greg Myers currently sitting in 14th, man. Don't count them out because they're going around that carousel and they're just freight training around these Formula Abarths.
Back up, Ronnie sitting in 4th, but the number 3 and the number 2 driver aren't getting too far away from him.
Currently covering that mid-pack battle right now, but going on between Moses, Panichkin, Omelian, Uren, Ludden, Houston, and Myers. And Luis Nieto bringing up the rear a little bit further back. And we're quickly going through some attrition rates out here from both, well, no, not so much from the NAGP side. It's been more so from OSRW. So on board with 8th place Chris Moses right now, trying to put his best foot forward right now, and he's not directly on anybody's tail, but he's got Sokolov just ahead of him.
Well, Dmitry Chernyavsky is sure putting on a clinic. He is 5 seconds out in front of second place Igor Triniskov and Evgeny Presman, but Ronnie Nunez is still holding his own there in fourth.
Well, I'll tell you this much. All of the Russians are on the mediums. Yep.
You got it right on there, Kenny.
They are on the mediums. It looks like Ronnie Nunez and Nietman are on the hards. And everybody else is on mediums as well. And then most of the NAGP guys are actually running the hards.
Yeah, and you know what? We can watch for later on as we get into this race. You know, we're only a couple of laps in, but as we get in, look for around lap 10, 8, 9, 10. We're going to see these medium tires start to fall off. The higher tires are going to keep their grip, and we should make gains at that point.
Well, I speak from experience. These hard tires on these Formula Airbots, since the new tire model release, they come into their own right around lap 5. There is a noticeable difference where these things just they come to life, and then they stay there. For what seems an eternity. So those on the hards are going to have a distinct advantage come around lap 5. They're going to have a distinct advantage, and you're going to start seeing these lap times start to fall just a little bit.
Well, you know, if that is the case, we're going to see Nietman and Nunez start to make some gains on the top 3 drivers because they are both on hards and they're both running 4 and 5 right now. But Chernyavsky is sure putting on a clinic tonight.
And they are both running very similar lap times, about 2/10 at most separating Nunez from Nietman. So it's going to be interesting to see how their battle shapes up, them being on the hards.
And Nietman is starting to put a little bit of pressure on Ronnie Nunez.
Ever so slightly, and I believe that's perhaps because he's got Markosian right behind him.
Chris Moses trying to close the gap up to Sokolov.
Yeah, so Chris Moses got about a 2-second gap to Sokolov right now, and no doubt Moses is going to keep that that accelerator peg to the firewall as much as he can, trying to close that gap.
You know, we've got a great contingent out here, and they're all on hards. You know, we've got from P11, Marty Uren, John Houston, John Lund, Greg Myers, and Luis Nieto, all running right close together. You know, they've got another driver in behind him as well, but they're all running real close together in the top 15. I'm looking for them to make gains when these tires start to come in.
You know, an interesting note is that I'm only showing 18 drivers left. Did we lose, what is that, 8 drivers? I don't know, man. I don't know if my scoring and timing is actually accurate, but I'm showing only 18 drivers out of what should have been 22. I see we lost.
I'm not sure what happened to Brad. Brad must have got tangled up somewhere. He's down at 18th.
Yep, and Matt Taylor's out. So Matt Taylor's called it a day. Yeah, he's called it a day. So Brad must be suffering some aero damage because his best lap so far, 2:12.8, and Chernyavsk is currently running 2:08.5 as his best lap. There's quite a bit. There's a distinct difference in the lap times from your leader down to second.
Well, we'll see if he can keep those lap times up. We're only on lap 4 right now, and you know, we've got 15 or 16 to get the midway point. Can he keep that pace up, or is the tires going to fall off terribly? And I got to think at that pace, those mediums are going to be like Bandinis by the time he gets to around lap 11 or 12.
Yeah, that's quite possible. And you know, we're currently almost 5 laps down into this right now, so that's still going to that's still going to remain to be seen. But I have to agree with you.
You know, Chernyshevsky, he looks like he's running nice, smooth laps, but hard to tell what the wire's going to be like.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack. And now it looks like Ronnie Nunez is starting to come under some pressure. Let's get back up there and bring that to you guys. Let's see here. Yeah, so Nunez, not so much under that much pressure, but he's got Nietman just behind him.
And his Yevon took it a little wide, caught a bit of grass, but Marcus Sain took it wide and got a bit of grass too. So now Nietman goes by him again. So the Russians are swapping spots. As I said, you know, it's pretty easy to overdrive this thing, and one wheel off, it's just not pleasant.
No, absolutely not. And so we're back on board with Chris Moses. Was looking to see if he gained any advantage because of those the Russian hijinks that were going on there, taking those cars offline. He's got a little bit of an advantage.
I think he's picked up quite a bit. You can see a little bit of puff of dust coming out from the Russian car there. Any of that little touch off is costing time. You can see Chris is picking up space. You know, I'm pretty sure, you know, Chris is a magician there. I don't know if he's running a high downforce, low downforce. You never know with that guy.
No, you certainly don't. And, you know, as you affectionately call him, the pit wizard, you know, it's going to be very interesting to see what strategy the pits are going to play today. We've got some of our guys on mediums, some of our guys are on hards. The top Russians are all on mediums, as you state. We've got now 7 laps in the books, so within the next 3 to 4 laps, I believe we're going to perhaps start to see something change here. I could be wrong. These the Russians up front running on those mediums might have, you know, done countless reconnaissance laps and practice laps and figured that they might be able to get away with those mediums for an entire stint. We're gonna have to see.
Chris is on medium.
Oh, and it looks like Sokolov and Nietman. Yep, they touched wheel to wheel. This gives Chris Moses the advantage. He's gonna get by him as they drag race through the Moraine sweep down into turn number 5. Moses with the inside line advantage, with Sokolov not giving an inch.
Whoa, big bang, and there goes Sokolov.
There goes Sokolov. He turned in way too early. Looks like Moses is going to give him that spot back.
Well, and Nietman stuck his nose back in there. Holy cow, these Russians don't seem to show much respect to each other.
And Alexander gets by Moses, as Moses was, I guess, trying to wait for Nietman, or Sokolov, I should say. And Marcus gets by Chris Moses.
Yeah, and a little farther out front, you know, Pressman has opened up a gap to Ronnie Nunez. But again, you know, we're in lap 6, and whoa, keep it on track there, Ronnie. And Chernyshevsky, Brezhnev, and Pressman are all on the mediums, Nunez on the hards. And this is just about where our intelligence tells us that lap 7 and 8, the medium's going to start to fall off. So we'll keep an eye. I'll keep an eye on Nunez and see how he makes it.
Well, got an update here on board with Mr. Marty Uren, who is giving all kinds of agita right now to Yetman, who's running in... Boy, I just lost my place. Oh, currently running in 10th. So Marty's in 11th, and because of the off that Yetman had, and the wheel-to-wheel touching, it's afforded Marty Uren an advantage here, and he's starting to close that gap now as they go into turn number 1.
Well, Yetman's one of the few Russian drivers who are on hard tires, so his tires should hold up.
Yep, they should be coming into their own right about now. Like I said, it takes about 5 laps for those hard tires to really come, to start getting into that optimal zone. John Ludden and John Houston currently battling for position. That's 12th and 13th respectively, as John Houston goes to the inside and is going to just walk away with that position. So Ludden doesn't put up much of a fight there for him. Allows John Houston, perhaps figuring he might have more pace, to just go ahead and hunt down some Russian blood. So Roman,
another battle shaping up here. Chris Moses has got Marcus Ian in his sights.
Yep, that he does, and that's for P4. Currently, Ronnie up in, let's see here. I'm sorry, that's for P5. Ronnie up in P4. Timing and scoring getting a little screwy there. But then again, we did not have this this tool ready for this race, so we're just kind of winging it.
Coming up, and he's going to have a battle with Yetman and Panichkin very shortly.
Yeah, they look like they're pretty evenly spaced right now, one to the other, but that can change here in a quick hurry, especially given some of the OSRW guys kind of like to run it to the outer extremities of the track and use just about every inch of real estate they possibly can to keep a fast pace. So we're gonna have to see how that shapes up.
Well, in the top 8 drivers, there is only one driver running on hard tires, and that's our Ronnie Nunez. All the rest, Chris Moses included, are on mediums.
Lap times are certainly showing that, at least the gaps, that Ronnie is running a consistent gap to 3rd place, Mr. Pressman, and 2nd, Drezhnivkov, I believe is the way you pronounce that. Drezhnivkov. Drezhnivkov. So, yeah, we are going to keep a close eye on this battle here just for a couple minutes more. Marty Uren now closing that gap on Yetman.
And doing a great job. He is coming up. Those 2 drivers, Yetman and Panichkin, they're nose to tail, and that could work to their advantage or work against them. As they start going side by side into these corners, that is not going to be good for them, and it's going to be good for Marty.
Indeed. lead as we are on board with Mr. Uren right now. And these guys seem to want to just pass each other up front. So, you know, the more they battle, the advantage goes to Uren, who should be able to fairly quickly catch these guys.
Chris Moses coming under pressure from O'Malian and Sokolov.
Just caught up to that battle now as we see them coming into this next corner. And Chris Moses definitely getting some, getting pressured by these two drivers. But the one good thing about Chris Moses is he drives with a cool head 99.9% of the time, so he's not easily rattled.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be paying too much attention to what's in his rearview mirrors. You know, in those last couple of complex corners, you know, he might have opened up a bit of a gap. He might be running just a tad more downforce than the Russians are. And Chris into the pits.
Early stop for Chris Moses on those mediums. We're going to have to keep a close eye. He might be going to hards now for a long second stint. We've got 10 laps down out of a scheduled 31 lap maximum, Jack, and
there's a couple of Russians going in too.
So this is a bit surprising that they actually came in this early, and Chris Moses is away. Moses quickly away, and let's see here.
I got Marcus Ian in the pit.
He goes to the hards. Moses goes to the hards.
Well, it's going to take a lap or two to get those hards up to temps.
That it is.
Comes out in 8th.
So your race leader right now going through the back portion of Thunder Valley, and he will be at Canada Corner momentarily. We're going to see if he's gonna stay out. He's also on mediums, 10 laps down, about to put lap number 11 down. Igor Derajnikov in second.
So it's going to be interesting.
And no, it looks like your race leader's going to stay out one more lap, at least one more lap.
Drasnikov into the pits.
That he is.
President into the.
So we're starting to see the Russian contingent now coming into the pits to change out those medium tires that they're running on.
Yep. Nunez now goes into 3rd. Drasnikov is rolling again. No, Drasnikov is still in the pits.
Sorry about that, Jack. We had to step away for a second, but we are back.
Well, we've got contact. We've got contact back here. Sokolov, Panichkin, and Marty Uren, but Marty Uren's got it rolling again. Sokolov back on. But Marty goes sailing by, and so did, I think, John Houston went by them as well.
Boy, oh boy,
Coming
oh
under
boy.
pressure from Sokolov now. Boy, Marty is, or John Houston is stuck in a sandwich here. 3 wide. Insanity.
Yeah, we are just catching up with you now as they now thin it out to 2 wide, but John Houston in that mix, and with and clearly with some pace here.
Wow, good on you, John. That was great driving on John's part, and it looks like one of our other drivers has slipped up behind him too. That
Luis Nieto.
I think that's Luis Nieto.
Yep. So Uren checks out from that little battle going on and leaves Houston and Nieto to battle it out with the OSRW guys.
Yeah, we got Kanichkin out in front, Marty Uren and John Houston, and it looks like Sokolov in behind them now. So a great change of order back there, I'll tell you. And that was exciting racing, but that 3 wide, that's just insanity.
That is insane. But boy, I gotta tell you, you know what? Some of the best racing happens mid-pack. That's just the way it goes here.
Well, you know what? You know, there was 2 Russians, you know, sandwiching John Houston, and a fabulous drive by John there. But that was just insane because the Russian's going to end up taking his own guys out, and that's just, in my view, that's unacceptable.
Yeah. So I see Salem is in the pits, but he's in 18th. Not sure if he's going back out. No, he's been there for 8 laps. Yep, he's been there for 8 laps. Okay. So he's done. So
Ronnie Nunez in second now. He's still
actually
got a long way to go. He's 20 seconds back.
He's actually up in first. He just took over the lead.
Whoa. So that means Chernesky is pitted.
Yep, Ronnie Nunez is actually out in the lead. Won't show him in the lead until he comes by the start-finish line, unfortunately. But with the broadcast tools, we can actually see the live position changes on track.
Well, actually, I'm still showing Chernesky out in front, but of course I could be all wrong.
Yeah, no, Chernesky did come into the pits and might actually still be there.
I'm showing Chernesky coming up to the start-finish line, and Ronnie Nunez just coming around the final couple of turns.
You know, maybe my timing and scoring is all screwy. Ah, there we go. It fixed itself as Ronnie
Where's
Nunez.
Mr. Moses? Back in 14th.
It fixed itself as Ronnie Nunez came through the start-finish line. So that issue is clearly here on my end.
That's all right. That's what I'm here for. Keep you honest, Kenny.
That's it. That's right.
So Marty having a great race, Ronnie having a great race, and John Houston up to 7th. And boy, I got to say it again. You know, that was some great driving by John Houston to make it through that borscht sandwich.
You know, and no surprise there. John Houston has just been showing some great virtual driving brilliance lately. So kudos to Houston. So Marty Wren gets himself up into 5th place. Nice place to be.
Luis Nieto in the pits coming out.
We have a spin right in front of Houston. Looks like Panichkin got it all wrong. Oh, and
he spun it again.
Yeah, so, oh!
Oh, in contact with another driver.
I believe it was one of our guys.
That was a terrible rejoin.
I believe it might have been Greg Myers.
You know what?
Who plowed into him.
Absolute terrible rejoin.
Yeah, that was not good.
I'm showing Chernesky in the pits. Coming back out.
It also looks like Sokolov has some serious damage to his car. He's limping around the track.
And Chernesky has switched to hards. I haven't got a track map up, so I can't tell, but Ronnie has taken over the lead.
Yeah, he has. And there is a 17-second gap to Nietman, who's running in second. So your new race leader, Ronnie Nunez, who has yet to pit, by the way. So could the long first stint have worked in Ronnie's favor? So here's the deal. He's going to start losing time to second place Chernavsky quite rapidly here. And we are halfway through this race. If he's made it this far and Chernavsky is on those hards, it might be beneficial for Ronnie to come in now, get some fresh rubber and fuel, and battle it out with Chernavsky towards the end, to the end, because he's got a 17-second gap, a 17-second lead over Chernavsky, and it's a long pit road. And we've lost Sokolov. You ran out there in 5th. Houston right behind him in 6th.
So Ronnie has stayed out. He is going right to the 16. He obviously has the fuel calculated. Ronnie, do not run out of fuel.
Yeah, worse yet, you don't want to lose too much lap time to these guys. Even though Chernavsky might be on hards, but he's on fresh hards. And once they come in to their own, he's going to start closing down that lead that Ronnie has over him. So I think I'm gonna try and find your race leader. Find out if we can. There he is. Okay, so we are on board with Mr. Nunez right now, and you see that there's some wear on those hards as he takes it wide. Can't keep it off the dirt there, but he's gonna want to bring that car in soon. Leader through the carousel and out now. He's gonna take it through Kettle Bottoms.
Whoa, we got contact. Dravzikov and John Houston. Dravzikov gave John quite the bump as John took it a little wide, went a little slow there. Looks like John might have to concede this position.
Well, we just missed it. I'm actually on with Rajnikov at the moment as they come out of that carousel. It looks like the Rajnikov might be the one with the pace here, so looks like Houston's going to go ahead and let him in.
Yeah, you know, John has no choice but to concede that position there. I mean, just way too much top end speed there by the Russian.
I believe Rajnikov is already pitted. I do not believe that John Houston is pitted. I could be wrong. we do not have, unfortunately, the pit indicators of when these guys have pitted. And nope, it looks like Houston's into the pits now.
Ronnie Nunez is in the pits and coming out. And it looks like Chernevsky is going to get out ahead of him. Ronnie is in behind now.
Yep, looks like Darashnikov got by him as well. So Ronnie Nunez in third place, coming under immense pressure by Evgeny Pressman. And Chris Moses now back in fifth.
Yeah, and Pressman going right by Ronnie.
Well, Ronnie just came out of the pits with cold hard tires. Or is he on the mediums? I didn't bother to take a look. We are soon going to be able to tell what compound these guys are on without having to resort back to the chat board. So looking at Ronnie Nunez get gapped a little bit by Mr. Darashnikov, and Darashnikov apparently has some pace. Darashnikov, who has already pitted, so Ronnie's got his work cut out for him to try and gain that position back from both Pressman and Darashnikov.
Oh, Ronnie's really all over the back end here.
Head game you can play right here in a situation like this is you just stay on your opponent's tail, match him speed lap for lap, play that head game where the guy in front of you starts thinking, you know, dang, am I doing my best to try and shake this guy and force him into a mistake?
Well, Ronnie and Pressman duking it out here.
Pressman taking the defensive line through turn number 3. And that is letting Darashnikov get away from them.
The old over-under by Ronnie.
Oh,
a little tap there.
Little tap, yep.
You know, just telling Pressman, get out of there.
Pressman not going down easy, but Ronnie Nunez gets the pass done. Don't think that we might have heard the last from Pressman unless those tires have come in and Ronnie's just going to start to check out now. So he's got...
You know what? I think Ronnie's got pace, and I think Ronnie's going to check out.
Yep, and so just about 5 seconds up the road, we've got Mr. Igor Darashnikov. Not exactly sure how much time Ronnie can make up here to maybe challenge for that second spot, but Chernovsky, he's just gone. And here comes Pressman again. Looks like Pressman might be running a really low downforce setup.
We got a real mid-pack battle going on back here with Marty Uran, O'Melian. Houston's getting in on it. It is a gaggle back here.
Yep, I just caught up with you there as we're looking at...
Here goes those crazy Russians trying to go 3 wide. Marty, big slide, taps.
Did he save it? Did he save it?
Marty
he saved
onto it.
Yeah, he saved it.
Houston on the inside now, inside of Martin. Holy smokes.
Unbelievable. Wow. I can't believe Marty saved that. That was amazing. So now John Houston perhaps stating, you know, let me get a crack at this Marco Cyan guy.
Well, now, you got Houston and Uren, you know, both nose to tail. If they can just run nose to tail, that should help them down these straights to make up some time on Marco Cyan.
Yeah, absolutely. So Marco Cyan, he's just ahead, and ahead of them is Nietman running in 6th. So if you ran, like you said, if you ran and Houston can get together and just kind of freight train it, as Houston takes it a little wide there, no doubt they'd make some progress and some inroads to Marco Cyan's position. Whoa, slide by Houston.
We got Ronnie Newman back up in 4th there, and he is pressing Pressman for that last podium position there. So hang in there, Ronnie. Looks like you're closing the gap slowly but surely, and you still got 15 laps to go.
Yep, indeed they do. So well, 18 down. Yeah, no, 19 down, and they're working on number 20. So now Marco Cyan is starting to pull a little bit of a gap on Houston. But Marty Uren and Houston still running very close. And then you got O'Melian currently running in 10th. So a bit higher than expected rate of attrition in this first interleague race here at Road America. Hopefully, if there is to be another after this one, we can maybe reap the benefits of a higher completion rate than what we have here today.
Well, plus it would have been nice to see you know, all 14 drivers being able to allow it in instead of the 11 we had. So there's going to be some disappointed drivers out there.
Oh, for sure. So Greg Myers out there running in 11th. Panichkin, who was running strong early on, now in 12th.
Yeah, and he's definitely got Greg in his sights.
Yep, Mr. Smooth just needs to keep it smooth. So, oh, looks like Marco Cyan. Something happened to Marco Cyan. Marco Cyan quickly dropping back to 14th. So I'm not sure what happened there, but he dropped back to 14th.
Trying to keep an eye on everybody here.
Brad Maris currently running in 15th after having suffered something, for sure. John Ludden in 16th. Now John Ludden is about a lap and a half down, and Brad Maris the last one on the lead lap.
Yeah, you know, both John and Brad must have suffered.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine them to be down that far.
Nope, not at all. So Chernayevsky out in front by a commanding 12.2 second lead over his buddy Darashnikov, over his comrade. That was the word I was looking for. Over his comrade.
Well, I think they're probably more like teammates today.
Probably, yeah. But commanding lead nonetheless. He's pretty much ran away with this one from the very beginning. So Evgeny Pressman gets by Ronnie Nunez and relegates Ronnie back to the 4th spot. We've got 10 laps to go. And looks like everybody's starting to space out kind of nicely here. We've got some folks running kind of close. Houston chasing down Yetman. Chris Moses quietly running up in 5th. Kind of flying under the radar.
Yeah, not much in front and not much behind.
Nope, there is a 19-second gap to 4th place for Moses and a 10-second behind him to Nietman. So he's just kind of out there, like I said, flying under the radar, la-di-da, Sunday drive around Road America.
But John Houston is laying it all out there, trying to catch that Yetman, and I think he's actually making some inroads on him.
That very possible. Boy, we've seen a different side of John Houston as of this last season. A lot more aggressive driving, a lot more confidence too, I gotta say, is what I've noticed coming out of John Houston's camp. So, you know, good on him for making the progress.
Obviously liking the A-bars.
Oh yeah, for sure he is. So he's been doing really well this season. It's good to see him running with the top guys week after week. But
yeah, someone else that I'm not sure what happened early on, but Luis Nieto, I'm surprised he's running down in 12th. I thought he would have been a lot higher. So, you know, there's 3 of our top drivers, Nieto, Maris, and Ludden, and Salem, you know, as well. I mean, there's 4 of our most competitive drivers in the league here that are struggled early on and costing him throughout the race.
Yeah, no, absolutely, I agree with that. It's unfortunate to say the least, and thus why I referenced that should there be another interleague race, and I would certainly be a supporter of having more of these types of fun races, maybe with some incentives on the line, perhaps. You know, maybe we need to look at the hosting server carrier and get something maybe a little bit more appropriate that's able to handle the diverse nature of the connections that have happened here today.
Well, that being said, you know, I got to throw a big kudos out there to Al Merriman, who's helped set this whole thing up. Spent so much time getting us out on track and not even be able to join us today. So, Al, thanks for everything you've done for us, and we do all appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you that might be watching the this broadcast, the American broadcast, and well, you guys kind of know what's going on. It's a virtual race, but if you've been contemplating or looking for a league,
we've got. It looks like we've got Pressman into the pits.
And
Krasnikov into the pits.
Oh boy, look at this. Ronnie Nunez out front.
No, Chernesky stayed out.
Alright, I'm showing, let's see here.
Pressman's rolling again. No, Pressman stopped.
I see.
Krasnikov stopped.
Okay. Ronnie Nunez just went through. Oh, I'm not even sure where he's at, but I'm showing Nunez up in 2nd.
That's where Nunez is right now.
Wow, so Nietman and Pressman take a 2nd pit stop. Interesting.
And I think they've come out. I think Pressman's come out in behind Chris Moses.
Yeah, he has, and about 8 seconds back, but starting to close that gap to Chris Moses. So Darashnikov and Yetman are now battling with each other, because it looks like they both came out of the pits together.
Pressman up in behind Marty Urin and John Houston.
Yep, just catching up to that little battle right now. And so he slotted in right behind these two after his pit stop. Still wondering why he took on a second pit stop though. Did they go to softs?
Well, that was some of the Russian strategy. No, Pressman's out there on mediums.
And I don't know what to make of it. Why sacrifice your position if you're only going to get back on the mediums versus trying to run a short stint on softs?
Well, we had seen, you know, it was either going to be a two-stop, or if you were just going to do a one-stop, it was very, very close on fuel.
Really? I see.
There goes Pressman.
Yep. Pressman gets by Marty Urin.
Yep.
And now sets his sights on John Houston. And it looks like he's quickly reeling in John Houston, too.
Yeah, but we see some great driving out of John. And you know what? I don't think John is going to make it easy for Pressman to get by.
No doubt. And it looks like Yetman is coming under some pressure from, or is it Darashnikov coming under pressure from Yetman?
I don't understand that at
all. What's that, Jack?
I don't understand that at all. It's like I'm watching an F1 race where, you know, team orders mean nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, if they had any, no offense to you Russian dudes, but if you had any brains, you'd just be running nose to tail, putting in as fast laps as you can, rather than trying to pass each other.
Yeah. So it looks like Darashnikov is the one with the better pace, so he's going to leave Yetman in his dust. And it looks like Pressman gets by Houston for that spot. So Pressman up to 6th, Houston down to 7th, and Urin down to 8th. Nieto in a battle back in 11th with Lapin.
Boy, and as you mentioned earlier, they are rattling off those rev limiter.
Yeah, they certainly are taking it to the limit and beyond. And you know what? No surprise. Road America long straights. So Luis Nieto looks like Lapin has that pace on Nieto, and he's going to get that pass done. So Luis Nieto pushed down to the 12th spot. And looks like Yetman is within 5 seconds of Darashnikov. Oh, but Yetman gets it all wrong coming out of that last corner and does a little landscaping, some lawn maintenance. And now Pressman is all over Yetman's tail.
Well, it looks like Ronnie Nunez in 2nd and Chris Moses in 3rd. They've got fairly comfortable cushions going.
Yeah, they do actually. So there's about a 21 second gap between Nunez and Moses, and then another looks like 6 to 7 second gap back to Darashnikov. So these two NAGP drivers, Nunez and Moses, just gotta keep it clean and consistent for the remainder of this race if they've got the fuel to to make it that far. Remember, Moses pitted on lap 10. Does he have 21 laps of fuel in that car? That's the question to be answered yet.
No.
And Moses is in the pits. Moses is in the pits. And certainly if Moses comes into the pits, not sure that Nunez is actually good. I think Nunez is going to stay out and hold on to second. And Nunez pitted on lap 16.
Yep, I think Nunez can go the distance with a one stop because he's got his gearing set up that he can do that. Now, can Moses get back out? I'm not on Moses to see if he's rolling because Drashnikov is...
Moses is out and he's back on the track. Just can't tell what tires he's on though.
Moses is on the hards.
That's a bit of an interesting change there to go back out on hards with just about 5 laps left to go. So some of the pit strategies not working out for some of the guys as they had hoped for. Nunez carrying the torch of hope for the NAGP right now, running in second.
Frank Meyer's doing a great job. He has made it up to the top 10. I knew Mr. Smooth could do it, and he's got the Roman Lappin in behind him, but Greg seems to be doing a great job keeping the gap there.
Yeah, no, he certainly is. So Houston and Uren back there in 6th and 7th respectively, and they are trying to push each other, it looks like. Ronnie Nunez in second. Doesn't look like there's any chance of catching Chernovsky unless that guy just throws it off or finds a wall somewhere. But Nunez is about 25 seconds back. And if things are to stay the way they are, then Nunez will walk away with a second place finish.
Yeah, that Chernyavsky, great race. That's all you can say about it.
Yeah, dominating performance. I mean, he is the only driver to touch the 208 during the race session. His best lap is a 208.588. Nobody else has even touched the 208s.
He's driven a smooth race. He's hitting the apexes. He's on the line. I was afraid that if some of these guys got out in front, we've seen it in our own league, Ken. They just get out, they get into a rhythm, and it's going to be really hard to reel them in.
Indeed. So, Yetman and Pressman still battling each other for that 4th spot. Going to be interesting to see how this one shapes up. We're coming up on 3 laps left, Jack. So,
Ken, this is going to be interesting because we won't be able to drag Chernyavsky up into the broadcast booth unless we have a translator handy, and I'm not your guy.
We can always speak Russian in English terms. How are you, comrade? I think that's a pretty good, pretty good likeness of Russian in English. No, but we can certainly pull up Ronnie Nunez.
We definitely will.
Yep, that we will. And it looks like, boy, everybody's just kind of like out there doing their own thing.
Chris Moses takes it off track.
Oh, no.
Chris down to 9th.
Greg Myers duking it out with Lapin. These guys right now coming down the front stretch. This is for 10th place. Lapin right on Mr. Smooth's bumper. Great battle going on here in the closing laps.
Lapin sure looks like he wants by.
Yep.
You know, Greg's great at driving the line, so I mean, Greg will drive his line and make this guy work for it.
That's it. Oh, as Lapin nearly takes it wide, trying to avoid Greg's car. Greg doing everything that he can to keep Lapin behind him and not give up that top 10.
And he's doing a great job too.
Looks like at the tail end of that second sector going into the third sector, Lapin might have a slight advantage over Gregory Myers. But like you said, Greg driving the line, it's going to make it very difficult for Lapin to get by him. Going to come alongside him. It's a drag race down into Canada corner. Lapin with the inside line. Greg Myers is going to take it wide, not trying to do too much here.
Greg doing a great job there, though. You know, sticking with his line. He may gain a bit of an advantage coming off the corner.
Yeah, no, absolutely he did.
Tucking right in behind him, grabbing a bit of a draft.
He's got some pull. Lapin's going to stay on the inside as those rev limiters bang off. They are side by side, too wide going into turn number 3. Roman Lapin with the advantage is going to pull out in front of Myers.
Well, good on Greggy. He checked up there. Oh, my coffee service just delivered another coffee.
Yeah, I have in-broadcast food service that just dropped something off. Those cups of coffee while you're broadcasting are the best. So Lapin gets by Myers. Chris Moses still kind of flying under the radar out there by himself in 9th. And now John Ludden, let's see, where's Ludden at in this order? Ludden is currently running in 16th. Okay, so he would be getting lapped by Holyman. There's still this battle between Yetman and Pressman. Now, oh, Yetman gets it wrong. Pressman goes by him as they were coming out that last corner. Yetman got it all wrong. Oh, and here we got Uren and Houston coming up on him.
Houston and Uren, and he got it. Look at the drag he's hitting off this one. Gonna blow right by him.
Just about, so... with the advantage on the inside line over Nietman. Nietman's not giving up, though. Gonna look to the inside. So Nietman in an NAGP sandwich right now. We've got 1.5 laps left to go.
Yetman having a look. You can't do it.
isn't over yet. I believe Nietman might have some pace as he slides out of that corner. John Houston nearly getting a wheel on that grass. We're on board with John Houston looking at that battle directly up ahead. And looks like Evgeny trying everything that he can to get back by Uren. Oh!
Whoa,
Oh!
whoa,
And John
whoa,
Houston
whoa.
with evasive action is going to find... Oh, nearly found the tire barrier. But... it was side-by-side racing. Nietman gave Uren a love tap and kept it going. And doesn't look like he's going to try and give that spot back. So, that's the end of that. It's unfortunate. But it happened. So we're on the last lap. We're going to go ahead and get up towards the front here. Catch up with Chernyavsky, wherever that boy is. There he is.
Great race by Chernyavsky.
Yeah, he absolutely drove a brilliant race. So we're watching him now as he takes this final lap around this Road America circuit.
Been one hell of a showing for the NAGP today.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, along with our other top 10 finishers, you know, we've got John Houston, Marty Uren, you know, and Chris Moses in the top 10. And, you know, Chris should have been up farther. Had a little bit of an incident with Greg Myers, you know, all the way to lap 30 in the top 10.
Yes, sirree. So this is going to do it for us as Chernyavsky brings it across the start-finish line for the last time here at Road America and takes away the win. And quickly puts it into the pits. Let's see, where's our boy Ronnie Nunez? Ronnie Nunez is going to bring it home in second. Durashnikov.
You know, I'm out here with Houston, and he is pressing like a madman, but I think he's just about 2 laps too short.
So Ronnie Nunez is going to bring it home in second. We're going to go ahead and grab Ronnie Nunez real quick before he takes off. Hey, Ronnie Nunez, it's Jack and Ken in the broadcast booth. Do you copy?
Hey guys.
Hey, great
race, Ron.
Yeah, great race, dude.
Yeah, too bad. It wasn't enough. That guy was just blindly quick in the first stint with the mediums. I don't know how he kept them for a whole stint, but yeah, he was pretty fast.
Yeah, Chernyavsky, he drove a brilliant race tonight and really put on a good show. But you guys, just about everybody that finished the race mid-pack as well, some serious battles. So you are the highest NAGP finisher. Want to walk us through what your race strategy was today? I see that you were able to do a one-stop race.
Yeah, for some reason some of the guys couldn't make it a one-stop strategy. I was fine with it. I even had an extra lap of fuel at the end of the race. It wasn't a problem. The hards were definitely tricky to drive in the first few laps, but once they settle in, they were okay.
Yeah, you know, I've had some experience with those hards, and I say that, you know, it can take up to 5 laps for them things to really come into their own and get to optimal operating temperature. So I understand what you're saying there. And I believe you did hards both stints, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so coming out of the pits, I saw that you kind of slotted in, you know, with some traffic and had to kind of just take it easy there. So, I mean, but still a great show. You know, you came in second. I believe you finished second according to my timing and scoring.
And yes.
So, you know, a great show nonetheless.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
fabulous drive, Ron. And you
Thank
were
you,
a great
Jack.
help. Working with the other guys yesterday, it was a great help. I see Chris was in there in the mix with for a podium finish. I'm not sure what happened to Chris, but he was on a two-stop strategy, so looks like the one-stopper was the way to go. And I see Dimitri in front of you. He said he finished with 0 liters going across the start-finish line.
Yeah, I really wondered what happened to Chris because uh, I think that we were pretty much set up for two podium steps. But yeah, I'm gonna ask him after this.
Well, listen, brilliant race nonetheless. Congratulations on that second place. It's a good showing because I know these guys from OSRW, they're formidable opponents and really good virtual racers. So definitely a good show there.
Thank you, guys.
All right, so we're going to take and drop you into the Assetto Corsa channel with the rest of the guys so you can discuss what went on, and we're going to head on out of here. So thanks again, Ronnie Nunez. And that's going to do it for us, Jack. It's, this one's over. This one's in the books.
Hey, Ken, this was a fabulous inaugural race, and I'd love to do it again. I think our guys had a good showing. Obviously, they're our Russian dudes. They had their shit together. Excuse my French.
They certainly did have it together. And so, um, I say that we want a title rematch, if you will, against the OSRW to see what the next round can bring. So I'm certainly hoping that this is not, this might be the first, but we are certainly hoping not the last of the interleague race. Some kinks that we need to iron out, and some things that we have to look at from the administrative side, of course. So, but certainly hope that we get to do another one of these. And thank you for joining us in the broadcast booth, Jack. It was great to have you back. It reminds me of our old times.
And back at you, Kenny, and thanks for the viewers that came up to watch us. And hopefully we'll be back for round 2 of the Summit Series.
Yep, absolutely. So everybody, thanks for watching. I'm Ken Rodriguez for Jack Ivy in the North American Grand Prix. Thanks for watching. Take care.